we are. There we are. There we are. And it'll give enough time for everybody to, or for the people who want to jump on, jump on.
Heck
Uh,
yeah.
anything you want to throw out there while we wait a few minutes? While you're doing what you're doing, which I know what you're doing is important and probably shouldn't take any focus away from you from doing it.
No, let me think. Let me think. It's been a while.
Yeah.
I'm glad that I'm on here and I'm sorry about the confusion
Oh,
of my dates.
it's all good. I still have
Yeah.
to sit down and build it all out for next year, so
Yeah. Yeah.
it's all good, man. In a group, boom. No, not that one. Bah. For anybody who's watching right now, is like, what are they doing, man? Do they know they're live? Yes, we know we're live. Um, I am sharing in groups right now that like this type of content, so that's what I'm doing.
We actually just had, since in case people don't know, I'm talking about the shred method today. We actually
Hmm.
just had Adam Carroll on, who was the founder of the shred method.
What?
We just had him on our podcast, The Agent Goldmine, last week. So that one should be coming out next Tuesday. So stay tuned.
Yeah, especially hearing it from the man himself, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
I did good. I think that's it. Let's just say that's it. I think it's in all the groups.
I always forget too. Is there a way for me to oh, I have to like be logged in and stuff. I have no
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah, you got to
StreamYard
go.
like confuses me.
Yeah, you got to go on my Facebook or YouTube or whatever and share it that way, unfortunately. I mean, if I had you an account, I used to do it for Mike. I would just blast it automatically on all his stuff. But, you know,
Is it
here
too
we
late for me to
are.
do that right now?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I have to do it
I
before I log in?
Yeah, I got to add it.
Got it.
I
Got
got
it.
to add you in my account basically.
Oh, the inviter. Okay. Got it.
Yeah.
Cool. No worries.
You let me know when you're ready. I know again, it's not 11, but if you're ready, I'm ready type deal.
Let's do it.
Let
Let's do it. Okay. I'm going to be sharing my screen at some point. So this concept, I'm going to make it as easy as I can, as digestible as I can. There are always a lot of questions after. And what I'm going to be sharing is my own personal experience of the shred method because I personally have been in it. I only talk about stuff that I put my money where my mouth is.
Yeah.
So the answering of the higher level questions after this, if you have questions, I would suggest you go straight to the source, which is theshredmethod.com. Um, okay, my name is Allie Garced or Allie the Agent on all social media. And I have been an agent for a little over 3 years and an investor for closer to 5 or 6. And it wasn't until I joined this community, like Five Pillars Crew with Shelby, that I even heard about the shred method and a way to shred your mortgage in record time. So I was about maybe 5 or 6 months into being a pillar and being part of EXP, but not just EXP, like specifically our community. When I heard this, and at the time, I had a lot of information coming my way because I was a brand new agent. So I was like, this is amazing for my investment bucket. I'm going to save this for later because it seems like a very, very big hill to climb. And the founder, Adam Carroll, came on and gave us, like everyone in our community, a private training. And it astounded me. It was like, whoa, like a way to pay off your mortgage in months or years instead of the normal 3 decades. Like
Yeah.
I was like, is this a scam? Like there's gotta be, what is the catch? Um, so there are requirements, which I will get to at the end of this. But I'll be sharing my screen a little bit and kind of going back to me full screen, I think, if I can make it work.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah. So overall, what the shred method is it's a way to pay off your mortgage in record time. And it's a way, therefore, it's a way for you to keep your money instead of paying the compounding interest of a mortgage. because mortgages have compounding interest. And in case you didn't know, when someone takes a mortgage out, you don't even start paying like the first lot of years. And put it in the comments if you know how many years it takes before I finish even this question. But the majority, I don't want to say majority, I don't want to give it away. For your first mortgage payment is going to be whopping like majority just interest. And so if anyone knows how long it takes till you find, assuming a 30-year mortgage, how long does it take for an average buyer to finally get in the middle of like paying half interest, half mortgage or half principal? If anyone knows, drop it in the comments. Ruben's watching because I didn't also do you have access to the comments? I'm
I
just
do,
like
yeah.
assuming. Okay, cool.
Just do your jam. I got you. I'm like your
Cool, cool.
assistant.
Yeah. So um so okay, in the first couple of, years, you're paying mainly just interest. Like all of your payments are your monthly mortgage is going very heavy just interest. It takes all the way up until year 21 of a 30-year mortgage in order for that payment to finally be heavier on the principal side, which is wild. Like that is compounding interest, but it's not in your favor. It is in the bank's favor. So what the shred method is it's giving you back the power and saving you a ton of money by using something else. So instead of the normal consumer way, which is take out a 30-year loan, or even if it's a 15-year loan, whatever, the majority of your payments are for the majority of the life of the loan is interest. Going to the bank saying, thank you for banking on me. Love you. Here's way more than I should be paying. Um, so you can change that. And you can change that by getting a line of credit. There are 3 different lines of credit that I know of, and that was taught in our training. One is a HELOC or a home equity line of credit. You can take that out on a property that either you currently live in or that this is where kind of like a couple of stipulations come in, or that you own but is in the same state. The easiest way to get a line of credit is in a property that you live in, comma, that you've lived in for at least a little bit to have some more equity than you do loan balance remaining. There has to be equity in it. We're not pulling money out of thin air. We're pulling money out of equity. So that's the HELOC. Another way to get a line of credit is on your business. And I know that majority of people listening to this now and in the future are real estate agents. So if you have, and of course, I'm not a CPA, I'm not a tax advisor, I'm not nothing. I'm just somebody on YouTube. Don't sue me, bro. If you've been filing your, taxes with your business, I think for the last 2 years, again, I don't know, I'm not a CPA, you could be able to get a business line of credit. And so that's the second way to get a line of credit. The third way to get a line of credit is personal. Yourself, typically those come with higher interest rates. Um, and from what I have seen, again, I can only talk about my own personal experience. From what I've seen, all the lines of credits are higher than what like a mortgage payment is. And I'm going to get into why it's still financially beneficial. Um, but overall, that's like the general concept is using a line of credit to pay the whopping majority of the principal so that way you can shred the interest portion of a mortgage. And I hope that as people have questions, like throw them in here. Because I in my own head, I kind of like skip to the point where I think where everyone's at, but I want to make sure that everyone's following. So at this point, I think I'm going to share my screen. Ruben, should I add anything else or any questions that you have that you think I missed?
No, it makes sense. I'm curious to see how the credit line interest is lower than the interest of a home loan. I know it's heavy interest in the beginning, but I'm sure you're going to cover it. So that's the only thing that's popping up.
Okay. Awesome. For sure. Let me I will be covering that. How do I share
I
a
figured.
window? Oh, there, right there. Here we go. Let's share. Now, so this is the shred method logo. This is what we're talking about today. This is what most people do. Most people get money and they get a paycheck from wherever that comes from a client, from their W-2, both, whatever. And from that income, they then go into that income goes into a checking account, typically speaking. From that checking account is where they pay their mortgage, they pay their car, they pay their debt, they pay living expenses, they go on vacation, and then extra anything remaining after that is what then would go to savings and investments and extra Costco runs and Target dining out, going on vacation. So this is what most people do. What the shred method teaches people to do is they take the paycheck, money coming in, whether again from a closing, from W-2, whatever, and instead of putting it into your checking account, which gives you a whole whopping 0.01% interest, whatever, which is BS, instead, you're paying off the HELOC. You're going to be putting all of your money coming in directly into your HELOC. So in the most broadest sense, we're replacing the checking account with HELOC. And with shredding, there's a lot more movement of money. So typically, going back to how people normally do it, the checking account, the money just stays there. And then, of course, from there, yeah, they pay off the mortgage, they pay the car, they pay the living expenses, and they just wait until the next month when they get paid again. And then the same thing happens, the same cycle happens. But with what shredders do, there's more movement of money. Um, so they get paid, they put it into the HELOC, and the HELOC already has money moving, and you're constantly paying the HELOC back up. And instead of just waiting for, say, the every 2 weeks you get paid, or every closing, say you have 2 closings a month, instead of just keeping it still and stagnant in the checking account with the HELOC, that money is immediately going to work. And I will show you the behind the scenes of my shred method, the actual shredmethod.com, of how often money moves. So from here, from the HELOC, you then pay your mortgage, you then pay your car, you then pay your debt, your living expenses, and anything extra goes again to paying off your mortgage. I do want to share that you can do the shred method. You can shred your mortgage without getting a HELOC. A HELOC isn't 100% a requirement for this, but it is significantly faster and more financially beneficial if you do get a line of credit versus just using the checking account. So, and Ruben, just cut me off whenever you have, whenever you see a question. Next, so we've already covered that when you take a mortgage out, say a 30-year, because that's like the most common. When you take a mortgage out, you're paying interest all the way up until year 21, heavy on the interest until year 21. And as you know, just NAR stats state that the average American sells their house, not even just like moves out, sells a house every 7 years. And now it's actually becoming even less, like 5 to 7 years. I think that's because of COVID. So the chances of people even reaching year 21 is wild. That's not common. So, and the banks do that on purpose. Like the banks know this, and they have the calculation of the compounding interest working for them, not for you. So even if you think that you're getting a whopping great rate of 3%, 4%, of course, we're not seeing that right now. It is still worth it to get a line of credit, even though the line of credit is going to be higher. So the next thing I want to show is a screenshot of the summary of what I had back in 2023. So let me, I'm gonna go right here. So you don't see the name at the bottom. Okay. Beginning debt. This was 4 or 5 of my 2023, 5 of my properties had a total of just shy of $1 million in debt with mortgage. At the time I had my car, had a $13,000 balance in it. That's it, because I pay my credit cards off every month. So after I put all of my income coming in and all of my mortgages and all of my expenses going out, credit cards, car, everything, all my income and all my expenses, you put it into this calculator, which is the shredmethod.com, and it gives you a calculation. It also asks you a couple more questions, such as which properties do you want to pay off first, if you even want. I put nothing. You tell me what to pay off first because I trust you. And then it gives you a payoff date, which is like, I love looking at the summary every 2 weeks, every month, because it shows you the year that you could pay everything off. This is, by the way, this is not the screenshot of when I very, very first started. So as you continue moving money around, this is going to change. You know, every single time you put a big lump sum into a mortgage, everything in here is going to shift. You know, the payoff date for all of your debt is going to be closer. You know, you're front loading obviously a lot. Okay.
Hey,
Um,
is this a paid service or do you get this for free for anybody who's watching?
Oh, good question. This is not free. There's a like this helps so much. This is not free. But um do I have I think I may even have an affiliate link that gives you $200 off. Yeah, I do have an affiliate link that gives you $200 off. So what this is, it's an upfront payment to start shredding. It's an upfront payment. It's a steep payment. Do you want to pay off your mortgage? It's a steep payment. And then monthly recurring after that, it's like a $50 a month, something like that.
Mm.
Um,
I'll just say for anybody who's watching or listening or go to the description, and Allie at that time would have already given me her referral link. So click
yeah,
below if you want more. Obviously, watch this whole thing, see if it's a good fit for you. But so why not save money? And you could use that money that you save to shred off more of your debt. Let's go.
definitely. And there are requirements too, so which I'll get to at the very end of this call. This may be for you, this may not. This is just what's been working for me, and I'm a big believer. And I don't even work for the shred method. Like, yes, I have an affiliate. I even have a hat. Like, that's how much of a believer I am. But like, yeah, so it works for some or it doesn't work for others. So this was a screenshot that I took, the line of credit that I had remaining at the time, etc. Now I want to go into the line of credit, how to get a line of credit. Um, I actually did not get a HELOC because it was very, very hard for me to get a home equity line of credit, being that I, the way that my wife and I invest is we buy a property pretty much every year, sometimes year and a half, and we move into it. After we live there for about a year, then we get out and we rent it out. And then we do the same thing. So we always get owner occupied loans, and then we change them into rentals. So, but my issue was getting a line of credit on a rental property that finally had some more equity than it did, you know, so I could actually pull money out. Um, Being that we kind of moved state to state, I found it pretty difficult to find a bank or institution that would give me a rental line of credit. If you can find one, drop it in the comments below because my goodness, are they hard to find. The biggest thing that I had issues with was finding getting a line of credit on a rental property that I no longer lived in and that was in a different state. That was the biggest thing. It's like some institutions will give you a line of credit if your rental properties are still within the same state. And I'm like, no, my states are all over. So that's something that I had issues with. So instead, I started asking around for a personal line of credit, and that interest rate was just going to be even higher. So what I got was a business line of credit. I got a $50,000 line of credit, and my interest rate for the line of credit was 13%. 13%. I was like, oh my God, that's kind of a lot. It still works. Even though I was paying off my mortgages, sorry, I paid off one mortgage so far. Um, and that interest rate was 3.375. it was still worth getting the line of credit at 13%. And that is because a line of credit, you're paying the average daily balance and it's simple interest. A line of credit is simple interest. You're not paying the compounding. The banks aren't like making nearly as much money as compared to a mortgage, which is compounding for them. So that is why it still works. 3% mortgage rate that I had, 13% line of credit, it still worked.
Hey, my bad. Did not mean to. Here we go. Hold on. Here we go. All right. Hey.
Hi.
Uh, hi. You probably can't see the screens going on. But yeah. So, do you have a breakdown on the money saved? I mean, because when people hear that, like, what 13? What that is? What? How much percent? And then they're like, I'm not giving up the cheap money at 3 whatever percent. Do you have a difference? Like, this is how much money we have saved in interest so anybody could actually see that number and be like, holy cow, I guess higher percentage doesn't necessarily equate that it's eating up all my cash. With this method, it could save me X amount of money.
Yes. Um, I don't know if I have a screenshot of that, but I can talk about it.
Cool.
So, which leads me to my next thing here. In 4 months, I paid off my car that had a $12,000 balance, and I paid off the first property I ever took out that had a mortgage balance, a total balance of $121,000. At the time that I paid off this mortgage, I was already I bought it in 2016, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. I was 7 years into the loan. Yes, I had to use fingers. 7 years into the loan. So, I don't have a screenshot of this, but I was still paying majority interest every single month. I was paying majority interest because that's how the bank does it. So, and if you ever look at the TILD or like the truth in lending statement on your properties or as you're helping buyers, that very, one of those last pages there, it says, great, you're taking a loan out of $300,000 with interest. This house is going to be like, like this is not accurate, but another $300,000 just in interest, making your total of paying for this house $600,000. That's like pretty normal, like of course not super accurate, but you're pretty much paying like a whole nother house just in the interest over the lifetime of the loan. And as the way that the amortization table works is you're paying majority interest and the interest comes down a little bit more as the principal comes up with every payment. So the shred works best if you are in the beginning of a loan. In my case, I was 7 years in. It worked perfectly. Of course, if I'd started earlier, I would have saved even more money in interest because I'm vanishing it. The more that I'm paying from my line of credit to the principal of the property, the more I am deleting the future interest.
Right.
So,
Can you make that text just a little bit bigger for
hell
anybody who's
yeah.
watching? And then I do have a question. Let me know when you're ready for it, but
I'm
finish
ready.
your thought here.
Hit me.
Okay, so question on the screen. Does your HELOC loan have a prepayment penalty?
Um, no. So the line of credit that I got is with actually out in North Carolina. I think you know them, Ruben. Sherry? I got mine with First
Yeah,
Citizens.
First Citizens Bank. Yeah. And
Yep.
we got a hook up there. We're really good friends with obviously Sherry and a branch manager and another First Citizens here in Fayetteville. So if you guys have any questions, just let us know.
Yeah, for sure. And like again, the power of the freaking five pillars and like Ruben's community in North Carolina. Here I am. At the time I was living in Arizona and I'm like, all right, cool. The only place I can get a line of credit is out in North Carolina. Let's go. So I got the line of credit and it took about a week. They have to like snail mail paperwork over. Okay, cool. Wet ink signature, great. Um, so wait, did I answer the question? I forget what the question was.
Does your HELOC loan have a prepayment penalty?
Okay,
But thanks
I
for the
don't.
shout outs though.
Yeah, no, I don't think that it does. So I've had my line of credit now for 2 years. I really don't think that it does. What I pay for on the line of credit is just the monthly amount that I've taken out. So on my $50,000 business line of credit, um, my average uh, my average amount that I actually have taken out, I never take out all 50. I'm just very conservative. I have only ever taken out like 45 max. I try to only take out 40 at a time. So as I take out $40,000 on a 13.5 round up 14% interest rate, my average payment is about $350 a month. That $350 a month that I'm paying to pay off the line of credit is significantly less than the interest rate of my property that I was paying. So literally, I'd rather pay the simple interest, which is $350 a month for the line of credit versus the like $600 that it was for the interest to pay off the property. I hope that makes sense. Yeah. And
Yeah, it
since
does. I was just gonna say because although it's a lower percentage in terms of the mortgage, it's such a large amount of time, and that it's front loaded with straight up interest. So if you look at up all that, right, like it definitely it makes total sense versus a higher interest on a lower amount, and how that's if you were to kind of put it on a board and look at that, it's like insane. It totally
definitely,
makes sense.
definitely. So now I want to show you what the behind the scenes looks like of the shred method. This is it. Um, you go to shredmymortgage.com. Well, first, if you have questions, go on theshredmethod.com. They're gonna have a webinar that explains this at a significantly higher level that I can, like with more of like the math and stuff like that. But so the main dashboard is going to show you this is that screenshot that you saw earlier. So the amount of debt that you can either put one property or all of your properties and have the algorithm tell you what is best for you to pay off first. For example, I wanted to pay off my mortgage, but I let the algorithm decide since that's smarter than I am, and it told me to pay off my car first. And I was like, my car's at like a 2% interest rate. Like, why would I do that? The reason I did that, I did it. And the reason I did that is because I just saw how this worked for someone else in our community. Shout out John. I had a Zoom call with John and I was like, I don't know about this shred method. Like, can I Zoom with you? And can I see you log into your bank account? and and I want to see like the behind the scenes, like how much is your line of credit? Where is this money moving? I don't get it. So with the basic information that I had from Adam Carroll's training, plus the Zoom call with John, that is what helped me. I was like, all right, I get it now. So this is a summary that you're going to see on the main dashboard. If you go to the first thing you're going to be doing is editing the personal stuff, normal personal contact information there. Next thing is going to be editing financial. This has a drop down. I'm not going to open this because this is public, but it has all of your income and your line of credit is going to be here. So input your interest rate of the line of credit, how much it is, what the balance is currently, all of your income, and of course, find the average. We're all real estate agents, so our income can vary, but find the average of the last 12 months. And input that. If you typically have one closing month, then do that. If you typically have 7, then whatever. It'll tell you exactly how much to put. Then the next drop down is going to be consumer debts and household expenses. So all of your mortgage payments, it's going to ask you for the very, very beginning balance, how much the interest rate is, what the current, like how far into each mortgage you're at, and like any other details related to the mortgage. That way it knows at this point in time, this is exactly how much you're paying toward interest, and this is how much you're paying toward principal out of the PITI. And so that's for every mortgage, as well as a car. How much is your interest rate for the car, the remaining balance, and household expenses. So what I do here is I just put my credit card, and so like my Amex, my Chase, blah, 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 and all of my household expenses I put in here. This leads me to the requirement. In order to pay off a property faster or pay off debt faster, you need to have more income coming in than you have expenses. You have to be cash flow positive. Otherwise, we can't pull money out of thin air. So there are some like guidelines, and you should have at least like $500 a month extra, like after you've paid your mortgage, your car, your credit card, back to this over here, after you've paid your living expenses, your car, your debt, your vacations or whatever. After all of that, if you have extra, that means that you can shred. Of course, you can get rid of this extra stuff, like maybe stop paying for investments at this time. Again, I'm not a financial planner, but this is what I saw a friend of mine do, and this is what I stopped doing. I stopped putting more into other properties, paying an interest. I stopped putting as much into the S&P. I stopped putting as much into index funds so I can throw all of that extra discretionary income into, first of all, just my car. And then after that, then my mortgage. And that is how I paid off one of my mortgages in 4 months and my car in 4 months. And that's how I had started the balance of my mortgage with $121,000, and I paid off my $12,000 car in 4 months with using the shred method. So after you put all of your income and you put all of your debts, then you literally just hit calculate. You start the calculation process, then then you can go back to the dashboard, and all of these numbers will be a lot more accurate. When you scroll down, this is like a pretty graph of showing what the traditional method is of like every month paying the majority interest and a little bit of principal all the way down until 30 years, and woohoo, you're finally done. With the shred method, which is the line in blue, you are you're shredding. You're shredding the fluff that is interest that's going into the bank's pocket. And then as soon as that's paid off, then you have all of that extra money to pay toward extra investments. So this is a great way to increase your net worth significantly. So I want to scroll down here because after you edit the financial and you calculate you hit the calculation button, this will tell you exactly how often the purpose of what I want to show you here is it will tell you how often money is moving. So you can see, I haven't calculated this in a while because I've gotten the sense of this, in which I'll tell you in a second. September 20th is, moving money from my HELOC to pay off a debt. September 21st, the very, very next day, at that point, I'm going to be putting my income to paying back up on the HELOC. Like we're constantly taking money out of the HELOC and then filling it back up, taking money out and then filling it back up. Because again, we're only paying off the HELOC off the average daily balance. That's why you always want to be putting money back in to keep that average daily balance low. Then 2 days later, I'm taking money out of the HELOC and paying off one of my credit cards. Then 3 days after that, I am paying my a rental property. 2 days after that, you can see every 2 to 3 to 4 days, money is moving. So, which sounds overwhelming. I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to be on this every single day. I don't have time for this. I have kids. I have bills to pay. I got clients. I get it. After 1 month, you get a sense of where the money flows. I promise that you'll get it after 2 months. I want to be super, super conservative so that I can actually promise you. So that's why, I don't need to look at this every single day. It's fun. It's fun to look at this as often as possible just to see this number go down and this number over here, remaining years of all of my debts, of all my properties. That's freaking dope. That's so cool. So I promise that it's not as overwhelming as it sounds, and you don't have to follow this to the penny. You can just get the general concept of this and then keep doing it on your own. So that wraps up, I think that covers everything. The requirements, you need more money than you have, you need more money coming in than you have money leaving. You need to be able to get a line of credit. Well, actually, even then, you don't even need that. You could do this with the checking account. I wouldn't be able to answer any questions from that because I don't know. I've never done it, so I can't talk to that. And this is I don't know. It's just the best system that ever has come to fruition because I personally have done it and I freaking love having a paid off property every single month with just that full 100% cash flow coming in. That's nice. What questions can I answer? Oh, you're muted.
I knew that. I was testing on my end.
Yeah.
But for anybody who is watching that does have questions, go ahead and ask them, obviously. And we'll probably get questions later on. A lot of people said that they were going to watch the recording. So from my understanding, so I've never done a shred method. I've never even I've heard of it, but I've never looked into it, like never. And apparently in our backyard, First Citizens offers these cool HELOCs and all these lines of credit, which we've used, but not for something like this. So open up a line of credit, then attach payment. So do you physically pay off or physically send those payments out of the let's just call it a HELOC, or are they auto payments? I know this is a very simple question, but can you just automate, you know what I'm saying, this whole thing,
Yeah,
automate?
I did not automate because the money was different. It kind of changes every month, and I just wanted to follow this system to a T.
Oh yeah.
So what I would do is I would go into my First Citizens account, and that's where I would pay. Like I linked it to my mortgage. Actually, no, I would go into my mortgage account and then have it pay from my First Citizens line of credit, to the dollar, to the penny. Sometimes it has like penny amounts. So that's what I would do. And something before I forget, there's a whole nother like topic that I haven't even touched on related to this. If this sounds too confusing and you've made it to the end, you're about to get like, I'm so excited for you. Congratulations. If you say you already have a lot of equity in your property, and you've paid on a $300,000 house, for example, say you already have like 100K in equity and you don't want to do the shred. Say for some reason you find the initial payment too steep. By the way, I'm not saying the initial payment because I don't know, and plus prices change. I don't want you to come at me. But I remember it being like, this is pretty steep. I don't know if it's worth it. It's, for me, 100% worth it. But say you have already paid. Say you don't want to do the shred. What you can do instead is you can call your mortgage provider and ask to recast your loan. What recasting does, and like it blew my mind. I'm in the middle of a recast right now. Is it takes all of your equity into account, like how much you have already paid, and it makes it makes your mortgage payment lower. I'm not explaining this the right way. Clearly I'm not like I'm not a lender. But it redoes your loan to include the equity that you have already put into it. So if your mortgage payment up until now was $1,000 a month, and say you already have a good significant chunk of equity in there, by recasting your loan, this is not refinancing. You are not spreading your loan out over another 30 years. We're not doing that. What we're doing is putting the money that you have already paid into the property to pay down each mortgage payment. The terms do not change in a recast, only your payment does. So it's like, to me, it's a no-brainer. I'm doing this right now for a different property. And I'm waiting for the pay. How that works is you call your mortgage company and say, hey, I would like to recast my loan. Can you tell me what the numbers would be? How much lower would every monthly mortgage payment be? And in my case, it went from $900, 988, something like that, to 788. So it's like, for me, is a no-brainer. I can save $200 a month ish every single month for the remainder of that loan. I'm not restarting another 30-year loan. It's not going to be from now for another 30 years. It's just recasting the loan. So Google Recast, I can explain it significantly better than I can. Like, it's dope. And of course, the banks will tell you about this because it only benefits you. It doesn't benefit them.
Is there a certain amount of equity, and not to change like to the recast conversation, but is there a certain amount of equity or percentage that you need in order to take advantage of that?
I'm pretty sure that would be dependent on the lender, the lending institution.
Okay. And
I I think like I think the question would be like, is the hassle of doing the paperwork enough for me to save $50, a month? So like
right.
at any point you're like, if you call them and I think whatever calculation they need to do, they can say, yeah, we can recast and this is how much it's going to lower. So just
So it's
give
a
them a
simple
call.
question.
So simple.
Okay.
Literally, can I talk to your recast department? Okay, sure. Yep, that's me. I can help. Okay, sweet. Can I recast my loan? Literally, that's it. What's your loan number? This is it. Yeah. Okay. How much would it bring it down from this much to this much? Perfect. Mail me the paperwork.
Wow. Okay. So there's no closing cost or anything to it. It's just some signatures. Is there any cost to it?
Oh my goodness, I forget if there's a cost to it.
And guess what?
Oh
I could ask my loan people. It's just you got me
yeah.
curious now, you know?
I think it's like a very, very basic cost. Like it's worth it.
Yeah. And it's probably a write-off in terms of if it's an investment property too, you know?
Yeah.
So it's a
Yeah.
small write-off, but it's still a write-off. All right, so backing up and going back to the shred method. So you set up the line of credit, you you automate some and don't automate some, or don't automate anything per alley. I know everyone's got their own, they're gonna have their own tailored way.
I What I have automated in my finances are paying off my credit card. That's on auto pay. Because that interest rate is stupid. And um, but I did not automate the anything related to shred specifically. So
Okay.
because I was still learning. And after I
Right.
got the sense of where the money moves, okay, like I pay this credit card off at this time of the month. And then at that point, right after that, I go to filling back up my HELOC that I just took money out to pay the credit card. I didn't automate it. I personally found it fun and like rewarding to just hit the refresh button on the shred. So I didn't automate it.
Yeah, so you'll pay it from the HELOC, and the amount you paid out, well, I'm calling it a HELOC. Anybody use their line of
Yeah.
credit. Um, but let's just say line of credit. Pay it out of there, and that same amount that you paid out, you then pay back into
Ish. Yes.
ish with a little bit more.
Um it really depends on what your income is. So
Oh yeah,
it's yeah.
yeah, that makes sense. Oh, that's
Yeah.
cool. So you can have a slight buffer too, using
Yes.
the yeah. Hmm. Okay. I got more questions, but Isaac asked a question, so I'm going to throw it up here. Is this a one-time thing, or can you do it more than once? And I'm not sure which one he's asking that question for. So say shred and recasting.
Yeah. Good question. I'll start with the recast before I forget that.
Yeah.
Recasting depends on the lender. I asked a couple of different lenders, and some lenders say that you can recast every year. Some lenders allow recasting once. Some lenders allow recasting twice. Um, it it may just be like a call, hang up, and then call right back and talk to somebody else. So the lender that I'm doing my recasting on allows it every single year. So I'm like, what? Like for me, it's a no-brainer. Especially if you're doing both at the same time, right? So if you're shredding and putting money toward paying off, like getting rid of all the stupid interest because you're paying off principal, um, you can recast and it'll be a significant drop every year. And so, can you do this one time or more than once for the shred method? More than once. So, as with as many properties as you want. So, what I did was I had the system tell me, I didn't do the drop down of priority one, priority two. You can, if you know that you want to pay off your car first, you can put that in priority one drop down and mortgage payment number one to priority payment number two, whatever. I had the system tell me what they think I should pay off. So I paid off the car and then it just eliminates the car payment after that. Then it goes down to what they think should be next, which was that one property. And now I'm on property number two. I'm slow rolling it now. But I could, like, it's super cool to see that in 9.87 years I can pay off all the properties. So in that summary sheet that I had shared the screenshot of, that includes all of my rental properties. So it's like a rollover effect. I hope that answered your question. Otherwise, Isaac, please hit me again. I'm happy to answer.
Yeah. Let us know. Yo, I'm in love with the recasting at this. I'm both of them, of course, but I'm gonna be reaching out faux show to
Yes.
see what that recasting, especially every year, sounds amazing.
Yeah.
All right, so you have the money leaving the line of credit, and then you're also re-upping the line of credit as well. Uh, what is the plan after you've gotten done paying everything using this line of credit? Um, what do you do with the line of credit then? I know this is simple. It might be in about 10 years for you. What do you do with it then? Do you hold it? Do you pay off the line of credit as well? Probably, huh?
I plan on keeping a line of credit. This is my own personal, this is not shred method. Just my own personal. I feel like I would rather always have access to money.
Yeah.
Um versus, since I have a good line of credit, I'm going to keep it. I'm going to keep using it, therefore, because I have heard that if you don't use a line of credit anymore, the bank can change their terms and say, okay, you're not using it. We're going to get this back. Really just like the process of applying for line of credit was annoying. Like just snail mail to me and wet ink is annoying. I'm like, I don't want to deal with this again. Let me just keep
Yeah.
using it. So I will have that line of credit for as long as I can.
Yeah, and you'll probably, like you said earlier, you're purchasing a house every year, year and a half anyway, so you're going to bring on new debt that you could use
Yeah.
that for as well. Well, it sounds pretty simple. I mean, you put that in place, you use that to pay off the debt depending on priority, personal priority, or whatever the algorithm tells you, and you fulfill it. I'm trying to find more. If anybody else has questions, please ask. But it sounds pretty simple. Did anything pop up that that anyone should be warned about? Like as you were doing this, was like, oh man, I can see how someone can really slip down this slope, or is it pretty safe throughout the whole journey of this?
Um, I would not like lessons learned, but because I'm very risk averse, I do always and even the shred method suggests like not to take out the full line of credit. Like if you have access to a $200,000 line of credit, I wouldn't suggest taking out the full 200, like but I'm very conservative when it comes to money. So out of my 50, I only take 40 out at a time. Like one time I had 45 because I was like, oh my God, like I'm like 12K away from just paying off the property. Here we go. I'm putting all 12. Um, and I will say in the beginning, uh, like thinking back to when I first started the shred method, the payments were higher. Like it was like pretty large chunks. And then after you can just continue scrolling down that, the daily sheet of what it tells you to do. You can scroll down for months, it'll tell you exactly where money is moving. So you're able to see exactly where the money's gonna be going in the future. So in the beginning, when I first got started and I hit the calculation button and it said, okay, put $21,000 this, into this mortgage. And I was like, whoa, like $21,000. And I was like, is this going to be the 21 every single time? Again, my numbers are, respective to me. So I scroll down. I'm like, okay, this is the biggest chunk. So what I think is happening there is like the best way for you to shred interest is in like the earliest part of the loan, right? Since that's the majority of the interest. So that's why it's like throw a crap ton into it right now. And then over time, it's going to like wane off. I didn't see another $21,000 payment after that. It was like 12 and 11, like pretty much half of that. So that's something that like could get you if you don't follow the system, and you continue to put $21,000. You just have to make sure that again, how much money is coming in, and then do not put more out than that. And there, a lot of people usually ask, why not, if I get a $50,000 line of credit, why not just like put the whole 50 in at once? Because that's not using the system. Because then at that point, you're pretty much going into debt because you're not, unless you're making $50,000 every single month, don't put that full amount into the mortgage.
Yeah, that's the point of the system, is to step out of emotion too, right? Is there a cap on how much it will allow you to give? I know it gives you like parameters or like a game plan, but is there a cap or is there no cap in that person can get a little excited about paying off debt and just throw, or can you set a parameter that says you've done your amount this month, sir. Please no more. You're just going to go backwards, in case anybody has too much of an emotional attachment to paying off debt.
I don't think that there is system in that, like in the shred method system. That would be just personal accountability,
Self-control.
but
Yeah.
is self-control. But I do know I don't want to put a person that I know that did this, like stopped his other investments and like his goal was to pay off all of his properties, and he paid off like 3 properties in like a year, like it was amazing. But like he knew enough, I'm going to stop contributing to whatever he was contributing to. I don't know, like the TSP or,
Yeah.
his 401k, whatever. So that way he was just throwing it all into mortgage. And it's fun. Like it's fun seeing that mortgage get shredded.
Yeah, it's a cool concept. They say your business grows to the extent you do. And I guess your personal life too, and this is, and of course it is, but it's pretty cool because again, I've never seen this. I've always thought like, oh, we got 2%, 3%. Even we bought a property at 7%, 7 point something. I was like, cheap money, we're still cash flowing, you
Yeah.
know? And it's cool to know, to look at that and be like, I have to dive into it a little bit more. And hey, I might even, now that I think about it, make like a group of us. Anybody who's interested, if you're interested, let me know because I'll be a first timer too.
Yeah.
Um, and we can kind of go through it together. But it's cool to know that there's always, this thing is always evolving. This money strategy is always evolving, and smart people like you is sharing it and not like holding
Yeah.
it in. And so I really appreciate that. There's another question that popped up. Hey, and
Harold.
yeah, you kind of shared this, but it might be something else outside something you shared. Is there anything that the algorithm suggested you didn't agree with? What did you do? And I know you said with the vehicle versus a mortgage, but I guess
Mhm.
was there anything else, or do you want to go deeper into that?
Yeah, no, this is a really good question because there were some times where I was like, I don't know if I want to put, the full 12K into this mortgage right now. So and also what I didn't even show, but if you can imagine back to the daily task of what to do, where to put money, um, it doesn't assume that you did that. So you can literally, there's a button that says transact on the right hand side. You literally click transact, and that doesn't mean check. That means then you fill in how much you put. So even if it say I didn't feel comfortable because say a closing fell out of contract and I knew that I wasn't going to be getting paid until whatever. I think my income is going to come down, so therefore I don't want to put this money out. At that point, I could hit transact, but I could put 0, like I didn't put anything into this right now. And then you just hit recalculate, and then it just takes that into account. Okay, they didn't put anything into this, or we suggested they put 11K, but they only put 2K. Okay. And then it'll recalculate and just continue working for you. So there were some times where I was like, money might be a little bit tight. Again, not going past my $40,000 out of my 50,000 line of credit. That one time I did hit 45. So money might be a little bit tight. I'm going to be a little bit more conservative. I'm not going to put 5. I'm going to put 3. And then it's just easy peasy. You click transact, you put $3,000 or 31, whatever. And then it recalculates it for you.
Yeah, Harold, let me know if that answered your question. Um, Here's another question. We got like 10 minutes, right? You got 10 minutes.
Yeah,
I'm
hell
sure.
yeah.
I'm sure if you were out of time, you'd be like, "Yo, can we just exit?" Or you would just disappear and be like, "I don't know where she went." So what? And but you're already a tracker. But I'm gonna ask anyways. I don't feel like a lot, and maybe I'm wrong, of people track their net worth, for example, and they're not really sure of how much debt they have, the interest behind it, how much income's coming in, how many assets they have to offset debt, all that stuff. Was this your first time looking into all of this? I feel like you're already a tracker and you really didn't. I feel like this was a forced way to show not only you but whoever else is interested what your real world looks like. And when you did, were there any shocking, like, come to Jesus moments when you saw that? Like, how were you feeling behind that?
That's a really good question. Um, I track my net worth every single month, and I
Wow.
have tracked it. So yeah, so I'm like, and I know that I'm different. Like I know that majority of people don't. Like the whopping majority of Americans don't track their net worth every month. I had done it starting from 2017 when I knew that I wanted to. 2018 maybe, when I knew that I wanted to leave the military. Yeah, I was still in the military. I wasn't even an agent in 2017. Um, I was like, F this. I want to make sure that I'm financially successful and get out of here. So that's why I started tracking it. And of course, like that's how tracking it month over month. what gets measured gets improved. I left the military as a net worth millionaire, and I continue to track it. But now I also track my monthly cash flow. Because at the time I was like, oh, I want to leave the military as a net worth millionaire. It sounded cool, abstract, no real reason for that, just something cool. Um, but now I am more focused on cash flow. I don't care about what my net worth is. That doesn't feed me right now. I want cash flow. So I also started tracking cash flow. And by the way, I'm more than happy to share my trackers. It's a one tracker with one tab for net worth, one tab for cash flow. But it's pretty simple. It's like income. It's a Google Excel sheet. Income, all your incomes coming in, minus all of your expenses and the mortgages and blah blah. So I know that I have always been a tracker. I'm a freaking nerd. But for other people that maybe have never tracked or have tracked, maybe once a year, they kind of get like a general sense, but whatever. The shred method is also a very, very good way going back to, let's see if I go back to whatever. Going back to that sheet where it has you put all of your income and then all of your expenses. That's like pretty much what my tracker is. So it makes you look into it again. What are my expenses right now? How much am I paying every single month? And this credit card for this business, for that business, for my personal, for my wife, for alimony, whatever. Like it makes you, it forces you to get that glimpse again, because at the very, very bottom of that, it straight up tells you, it gives you a plus or a minus. And if you have a minus, that means it's costing you more to live every single month than you have money coming in. You're getting further into debt. And it'll tell you that, like, not just the minus, but it'll tell you the number. Say like $500, you're going $500 into debt more and more every single month. Or in the plus, it'll say, hey, you actually have about $1,000, $2,000, $7,000 of extra monthly discretionary income. Do whatever the heck you want with it. So that is the money that you'd be putting into shred. Or I put all of that extra money into shred. I didn't take did I take a vacation? I may have taken one. I don't know. But you know me, I'm a workaholic and I love it. So I put all of that money into it. What you could do is just put half of that money of the discretionary income into it. You don't have to shred your mortgage in 4 months. I just go like balls to the wall. But I didn't have to do that. Like, I'm not doing that for the rest of my properties. Even though my goal is to increase my passive income. So anyway, I'm at the stage of my life right now where like net worth to me doesn't matter. I'm looking to just increase my passive income, as we all are, I feel like, in 5 pillars in our community.
Yeah. 100%. And I will say, for anybody who is interested, so I've not always, but I've for some time tracked my net worth as well. And I'll put it on the screen. Empower.com is a free service that you could do that. And it automatically, you can automatically hook up your accounts to it, including your mortgage accounts and debt accounts, whatever, including your bank accounts and stuff. So in real time, you hit refresh, it's going to say where your net worth is. It's going to pull all the expenses and all that stuff out of it. Now, if you want to upload like art, all right, and you're like, oh, it's worth this much to me, try to get close.
My Pokemon cards.
Yeah. Which I still got them. I didn't collect them all, but I still got them. And some of them are shiny. So anyways, you could put all that stuff, which I was rolling NFTs in there. You could put your cryptocurrencies in there, and it's going to track it all in real time. Empower.com. Very simple way. And maybe that's where you start. You're like, oh my gosh, I really need to look at this. The shred method, it sounds like it's going to force you. You're going to have to look at it. That's what's going to build the algorithms and stuff. But if you're not sure, this is a great place to start, empower.com. I'm sure there's a paid version, but the free version's worth enough for me. So, nice. 4 minutes. Allie, do you got anything else you would like to say for anybody else who's watching? If you got any questions, please ask them. But I guess, how would you end this? Is there any new ahas lately, last 2 weeks, that have come from this that you might want to share, or wrap it up however you'd like?
Yeah. I'll go into the next steps, what to expect when you go on the shredmethod.com, or I will put my affiliate link in the description of wherever you're watching this. Hopefully, maybe Facebook too.
Just message me and I'll add it to all the things.
Yeah. Okay, so because that'll give you $200 off when you start. Again, there's gonna be that one-time payment just to have access, and then every month is like a recurring. It's $50 ish. Don't hold me to it. And so it's I think it's worth it. So what to expect after you pay that? You're going to be on a call with someone to help you through this because there are a lot of like little nuances just to make sure that you get your information correctly put in here, because that's like the whole foundation of all of this. So you're going to have a call with somebody from their team. And this is like not a huge company. Like there's like a couple of employees. They're all super cool. I can vouch for it. I've personally, they've helped me. So as I was putting my income and my expenses, I'm on the call with the lady. And so it's like, not only is it an aha for you, you're saying this to somebody else too. Like they're helping you make sure that just everything is correct technically in the system. And after that, again, like I said, I think it'll take about 2 months for you to realize, and plus you can scroll to see where the money is going to be moving in the future. You can kind of get a sense for where money is going, and where money will continue to go. So it's super rewarding. You get access to like a Slack community as well for as part of the membership, to help other Slackers and for any support that you have. Again, I don't even work for this company. Like I don't think I even get anything from the affiliate. The affiliate is just for you. So it's just to help you. I hope that this helps. This is a great way to tell your clients too, maybe depending on the price, how comfortable you feel, maybe this could be a gift for your clients. So, like a closing gift. Here's your mortgage for buyers. Here's your mortgage. I helped you get into a property. Now let's help get rid of this payment. So that way they can become repeat clients, or they can become investors, or, you can use this to save up even more money, have more cash flow over time, and then continue to invest in more and more properties. So I hope that this helps. I'm on Instagram, Allie the Agent, if you want to shoot me a follow. And for any questions related to the shred method, go on theshredmethod.com.
Boom, shakalaka. Thank you so much for all your help. And thank you for everybody who engaged, and for future people who are going to engage as well. Please reach out to Allie. Follow her. Her journey is awesome. It's been very cool to watch it. And like I said, if you guys have any questions later, just reach out and we'll be here to answer it for you. Thank you again, Allie, youthebomb.com.
Thanks, Ruben. Love you.
Adios.
Bye.